morning, children. How are you all? I hope everyone is hale and hearty. Today is my 8th lecture on the topic Language of Chemistry. We continue studying conditions necessary for chemical reaction. We have already studied those chemical reactions that required conditions like close contact, solution, or heat. Today, we will be studying those chemical reactions in which light plays an important role. Some chemical reactions take place by the action of light energy. Such reactions are called as photochemical reactions. Children, I am sure you have heard this word photosynthesis. Yes, it is a process by which green plants manufacture food in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Green plants absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, water from the soil, and in the presence of chlorophyll and light, manufacture food in the form of glucose. The gas produced in this process is oxygen, which is useful for us. The formula for glucose is C6H12O6. Let's carry out an experiment where we study the chemical reaction that occurs under the influence of light. We take some silver chloride. Silver chloride is white colored powder. We spread silver chloride on paper and put an object on it. We place the paper in a well-lit place. After a few minutes, we remove the object covering the layer of silver chloride. The area which was previously covered remains unchanged, whereas the area exposed to light has darkened visibly. We write down the decomposition of silver chloride as 2AgCl, that is in solid state, in the presence of light, breaks down into 2Ag silver, that is silver, which is grey in color, plus chlorine, which is in form of gas. Next condition is electricity. There are many chemical reactions that need energy in the form of electricity. They are called as electrochemical reactions. One such reaction is electrolysis of water. That is the decomposition of acidified water into oxygen and hydrogen gas due to passage of electric current. It is also called as water splitting. Students, would it not be exciting to perform the experiment on our own? Here I take a small plastic container. You must be having one such at home. And along with 2 such metallic pushpins are fitted into the container with some space between them such that they match the distance between the terminals of the battery, that is the positive terminal and the negative terminal. We take some water in the container with few drops of sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid makes the water a conductor of electricity. Now this water is called as acidulated water. Over the pushpins, we place 2 equal size small test tubes and you can see reaction starts as the electricity flows through the water. It provides enough energy to break down the water into hydrogen and oxygen gas, and they get collected in the different test tubes. Observe the volume of gas getting collected in the 2 test tubes. The volume of the gas collected in the right test tube is double the volume of gas collected in the left test tube. Now let's write down the balanced chemical equation for it. 2H2O in liquid form, that is water in liquid state. When electricity is passed through it, we get 2 volumes of hydrogen gas, 2H2, plus 1 volume of oxygen gas, O2. The next condition we study is the pressure. Certain chemical reaction occurs when the reactants are subjected to high pressure. For example, the formation of ammonia. This is the Haber's process. Haber's process is an industrial process that uses nitrogen gas and hydrogen gas to synthesize ammonia. The equation is N2 plus 3H2 gives you 2NH3. The condition for such a chemical reaction is a very high pressure of about 150 to 200 atmospheric pressure. Also, the temperature should be maintained at around 450 to 500 degrees centigrade. That is, the reaction takes place at very high temperature. The third condition is the presence of catalyst, that is iron. Now, one very important point for this chemical reaction is that it is a reversible reaction. That is, under the same conditions, the product once again forms the reactant. Definitely at this point, one question must be creeping in your mind, that what is this word catalyst ma'am has talked about? Catalyst is any substance that increases the rate of a reaction without itself being consumed in it. Now here it means it does not participate in the chemical reaction. Another such example where catalyst is used is the formation of sulfur trioxide from sulfur dioxide and oxygen. This reaction takes place at a high temperature of around 450 degrees centigrade, atmospheric pressure 1 atmosphere, and the presence of catalyst vanadium pentaoxide. Vanadium pentaoxide may be replaced by another catalyst, platinum. This process of formation of sulfur trioxide is known as the contact process during industrial preparation of sulfur trioxide. Next example is that of decomposition of potassium chlorate. In this reaction, manganese dioxide serves as the catalyst. It allows the decomposition to occur at a lower temperature. Potassium chlorate still must be heated to release oxygen, but to a lesser degree than if no catalyst were used. Here I have taken potassium chlorate. We will see the decomposition of potassium chlorate when heated. Now, potassium chlorate is a white color powder. To it, I have added small amount of manganese dioxide that acts as a catalyst and brings about the decomposition of potassium chlorate at a faster rate. Also, I burn a splinter. I burn the splinter and then put out the fire of the splinter. It is a glowing splinter now. Now, I introduce this glowing splinter into the test tube. The glowing splinter will catch fire. This is because decomposition of potassium chlorate has released oxygen gas along with formation of potassium chloride. Now, the splinter catches fire and look at the sound that you are getting. It appears to be a launch of a rocket. Now we write down a balanced chemical equation for the chemical reaction. We are heating 2KClO3 potassium chlorate in the presence of manganese dioxide that acts as a catalyst to give you products 2KCl, that is potassium chloride, plus 3O2, that is oxygen gas. Now, such reactions basically are known as decomposition reaction. A decomposition reaction is a reaction in which the reactants break down into products, two products. The general form of a decomposition reaction is AB after the reaction breaks down into A plus B. A general analogy I've drawn for you so that you remember what is a decomposition reaction is there are two friends, buddies. They are very good friends and they do all the work together. Now they have a fight and the friendship breaks and they are now two different individuals. At this point, I would like you to know about natural catalysts also. They are known as enzymes. Enzymes are responsible for biochemical reactions. Enzymes are proteins that act as biological catalyst. Catalysts accelerate chemical reaction. The molecules upon which enzymes act are called as substrate, and enzymes convert the substrate into different molecules known as products. In this process, enzyme remains unaffected. Each type of food has its particular enzyme involved in the digestion process. The carbohydrates, fats and proteins present in our food need to be broken down into simpler substances for absorption into the blood. Starch requires enzyme amylase to break down it into simple sugar that can be absorbed by our body. Protein requires enzyme proteases to form simple molecules of amino acids. Lipids or fats require enzyme lipase to break it down into fatty acid and glycerol. Oh, time for the assignment. Children, this is your 13th assignment. For solving this assignment, you need to refer to the previous videos also. Go through the book and then write down correct answers. Okay, thanks for now. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.